So my brethren, so today I'm doing part 4 of what if Izuku was immortal and the reincarnation of Ban. As you can clearly see, I am tired as hell, fam. Like, it's my first week back in school, like, brother, my fucking legs just hurt tremendously. My legs feel like they're gonna fall off, you know what I'm saying? Because, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not like super out of shape. Well, I am, but I'm saying like I'm not super unhealthy. Like I can walk for large distance of time. I can run for large periods of time and shit. It's just I haven't walked or ran in a very long time. So my body needs to accustom, especially now that I started working out again. But yeah, so um, thanks for all the support from all of you as well. I really appreciate it. You don't know how much actually. But anyway, let me stop the blabbering. So, I believe I left off on the force training arc way before the villain attack. But actually, let's not go to the villain attack straight away. Let's talk about the other members of Class 1A, because I don't pay attention to them anymore. So the members of Class 1A, they like training, but they realize, like I said last time, they realize their training's kind of shit compared to Izuku. Like Izuku is having to lift boulders like the size of hills, and he's having to like fight Tiger and the other pro heroes while weighed down and shit. So they're just like, why does he get special treatment? And they get the same response, right? But this time, since Todoroki and Bakugo are like, nah, I'm the best. I can't let myself be one-upped by that nerd, They start training harder so that they can reach to the level that Izuku's at, even though they're never gonna do that, Because Bakugo's an angry Pomeranian that deserves to be slapped in the face. And Todoroki, I don't mind Todoroki. I like Todoroki, matter of fact, but that's not here nor there. Anyway, so like I said, they start training like harder and harder, but they ain't making that much progress. Don't get me wrong. They're making progress because they are prodigies, right? So obviously they're gonna make more progress than the other people if they freestyle, but they still ain't at the level of a fucking top 10 hero or anything, yeah. Yet, so now we move on to the actual villain attack. The the villains begin to attack. Dabi sets the force on fire. The kids are going on I believe it was the thing that Class 1B was trying to scare Class 1A or some bullshit like that. So Izuku still realizes, oh shit, that little nigga Koda is missing. Which Koda, he tried hitting Izuku on the balls, but Izuku just moved out of the way and he was like, and then he just like punched Koda back, Cause I'm just saying, equality, my nigga, like, and the pro heroes were like, oh, what are you doing? He's a child. And Izuku's like, I don't give a fuck. If this nigga trying to hit me, I'ma hit him back on some Black Force energy type shit, This nigga be listening to Youngboy on his private times, getting in his feelings to Youngboy, my nigga. Who the fuck does that? But anyway, bro. So you realize, oh, the little nigga missing. Yeah, like these pro heroes, they already lost like their families and shit. Like I don't want them to like lose their only family left too. So he's like, these niggas can take care of themselves. They training to be heroes after all. He's like, they want to be heroes. So these niggas need to take care of themselves for real. I'm gone. So Zuko just starts like jumping. He just starts jumping from tree to tree, looking for Koda. Which is at this point he can like I said, His physical abilities weren't there with All Might any like at the moment when he was like at the Stain, the hero killer incident. His abilities were like 60% of One for All, right? But now he has like 100% of All Might's One for All because Izuku has his high regeneration. They had an opportunity to make him the strongest one there because they didn't have to hold back or anything. They could just let it all out, give him the harshest training they could. So he's like strong, like All Might strong. So he's rushing towards Koda, and when he finally gets there, he gets there just in the nick of time, just like in the original. Because I'm gonna say something delayed him. I don't give a fuck what you think of what delayed him. I'll play in the next part anyway. So something delays him, and he gets there right in the nick of time, and basically just on time to punch Muscular away. But if you remember, Izuku in the original, his 100% smashes weren't doing shit. Which personally, I think Izuku in the main canon, his 100% smashes are like fucking 60% of prime All Might, my nigga. What the fuck? Like those 100% smashes don't do shit. Alright? Like he needs to build his body more, cause with his scrawny ass, he don't get me wrong, he's muscular, he's lean, right? But he ain't like bulky like All Might, bro. Like that's how he needs to get. He needs to get bulky like All Might or Mirio, at least Mirio level by the time of when he becomes a pro hero. Because if he has that bulk, that means he can develop the potential of One for All to his fullest, just like All Might did. Like, bro, nigga, bitch, I don't give a fuck. But anyway, I'm rambling. So he punches Muscular away with his 100% smash. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't call them smashes anymore. He just punches. He doesn't name his attacks, my nigga. Unless it's like his energy manipulation, he doesn't name his attacks because it's just regeneration and super strength and super speed. So he gets Coda, and since Muscular has been cratered into the wall because he didn't need to hold back, like he didn't need to hold back from the beginning, so he didn't break his arm. So he just used 100%. So um, Muscular's cratered into the wall. So he picks up Coda and he's starting to walk away, and then he senses Muscular is like coming back at him, bro. So he's like, what the fuck? So he throws Coda to the side, and then Muscular like gets him with a big ass punch to the back. And Muscular like breaks his spine on some shit. And Muscular's like, ha ha, I broke your spine. You'll never walk again. You won't even be able to become a hero. Haha, now I'm gonna kill this little brat. Going on his whole villain rant that he goes on. Which Muscular is such a shit character. I don't give a fuck. Most of the niggas in My Hero Academia are they bit trash. I'm not gonna lie. I liked Izuku at first, but then I realized this nigga was a bitch. I like Todoroki. Todoroki, he's solid. I like Kirishima. Kirishima, he's solid. I like who else do I like? I like Sugar Rush dude. Sugar Rush dude, he's solid. I like Froppy. Froppy solid. I don't like Momo that much. Momo's solid in some instances, but then she kind of weird on some other instances too. I like Mineta. Free up Mineta, for real. I don't give a fuck if you niggas say he's a disgusting perv or some shit. Nigga, I like Mineta. Mineta's my nigga still. And who else do I like? Oh, and Ashido. But that's neither here nor there. So Izuku regenerates on some shit, and he's like, ooh, nigga, you should not have done that. He's like, you should not have put your hands on me. Now I'm gonna have to disrespectful. I'm gonna have to disrespect you to the point where your mama won't be able to recognize you. And Muscular's like, what is you talking about, bro? And Izuku just moves at his top speed, blitzing Muscular. Because if you didn't know, Muscular only has like muscles on his side. He doesn't have like speed or anything. So you completely blitz his Muscular and just like 100% in the face. Boom. And when he does that, he starts absorbing Muscular's energy so he can become like stronger and shit. He does fox hunts. So he what do you call it again? He calls out fox hunts, and then Nah. He calls out Hunter's Fest. Sorry, I fucking forgot. He calls out Hunter's Fest, and all this energy, all this purple ass energy starts coming from Muscular into Izuku, and meanwhile Izuku bulking like a motherfucker. Like this nigga getting built, my nigga, like sculpted like a fucking Greek god. And Muscular's like, oh, that must be your quirk. It looks very similar to me. So it's a muscle quirk, and Izuku's like, nope. And he basically blitzes like Muscular again, just bum rushes him. Like, bro, this nigga does the Uda barrage from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on this nigga. That literally beats the living shit out of Muscular. And so Izuku goes back to the same place where he met Aizawa the first time. He like drops off Koda at Aizawa, and he's like, "Hey, peace." Apparently these niggas after Bakugo or some shit. And Aizawa's like, "Why would they go after Bakugo? That nigga ain't even all that." And Izuku's like, "I know, right? But like, I don't know why they after him, but I still gotta help for some reason. Like, fuck." He like, I still gotta help for some reason. I feel like I should help, just because they're after Izuku as well. Because firstly, they want to turn him to their side because they see that he don't fuck with All Might and he don't fuck with the heroes at all, and he has a good reason. But then again, he has a good reason to hate them too. But they want to see if they can turn him, and if they can't, they just want to give his quirk to All For One. So Izuku going to that place where Dark Shadow is going crazy as fuck. So Tokoyami is still screaming, "Oh my god, I can't control it, blah 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 blah, you need to run away." And Izuku gets there and he's like, "What the fuck is going on, my nigga?" And basically, um, Bakugo and Todoroki are like, um, "Deku, what are you doing here?" And if I said Todoroki was a good guy in the last one, right? I know I keep switching him. If he was a good guy in the last one, then he's a good guy in this one. If he was a bad guy in the other one, not a bad guy like villain. If he was an asshole in the last one, he's an asshole in this one. If not, then he not. But anyway, Bakugo's like, "Deku, you nerd, what are you doing here? You can't help it." Blah, blah, blah. And Izuku's like, "Oh word," and he just like jumps up right and does that 100% Saitama death punch on right on Dark Shadow's like cranium, and you just nigga get flung back like as far as they can see, and he actually flings Dark Shadow into the light of Dobby's flames because he knows like Dark Shadow can't function in light, so he flings him to Dobby's flames. So this time Dark Shadow ain't even there to protect them from like moonfish or anything like. But anyway, so the other villains come around, Stinger and that shit. And the reason Izuku didn't arrive earlier to Aizawa or the other kids, is because he keeps getting stopped, like the other time when he got stopped on the way to Muscular. So Izuku, he fully goes to the thing. He goes to, what do you call it again? Yeah, so he's there with the people when Bakugo is about to get kidnapped. So they're like, but we need Tokoyami as well. And the villains are like, yeah, Tokoyami was just like a bonus. Like if we could get him, we should. The main two targets are him, and they point at Izuku and Bakugo. And Bakugo's like, why are you pointing at me? Starts going on a fucking rant. I hate that nigga. I don't know. I just hate that nigga, bro. Nigga said that he got character development. I don't give a fuck. From the way he started out, I just hate that nigga. I There's certain characters in anime that are just very dislikable, and Bakugo is one of them niggas, bro. I don't give a fuck. He ain't on Black Air Force energy. He's on some fucking maniac, bro. Like, nigga, I don't even care if you're a murderer. There's murderers in anime that have better energy than this nigga. He looked like he'd throw a live dog into a fucking frying pan, my nigga. Like, shut the fuck up. But anyway, compressed. Sorry. I sound way more aggressive today. It's just I didn't have a very good day. First days back in school. Like I liked it today. Don't get me wrong, but I liked the school itself. But like when I was talking to my friends and shit, some shit went down. So I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit aggressive today. Um, just bear with me, yeah. And like the next video I post, I promise I'll be more friendly. So yeah, look out for that. Anyway, you know, so compressed still sneaks up behind Bakugo, and Izuku, he wasn't even paying attention to, who do you call it, compressed, because there was this giant energy leaking from the mountain. Like he couldn't sense it at first, but like it's coming from thing as well, from, who do you call it, Shigaraki. It's coming from Shigaraki because Shigaraki got like he got this quirk from All For One. That And if you guys haven't commented in the comment sections below who you thought it was by now, like pause the video and go and comment, because in the next 10 seconds I'm gonna explain to you exactly why Izuku's been stopped like so many times. So you ain't done it yet? You ain't done it? I'll give you 2 seconds. Alright, cool. Now on your way back, like the video, my nigga. Like the video. Run up the likes. Cause I get like 400 fucking views in one video and I only get 11 likes, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Click that motherfucking like button, nigga. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Actually. But anyway. So the reason Izuku was getting stopped is because, honestly, All For One was just trying to convince him, right? So All For One gave Shigaraki this quirk that allows him to like, that allows All For One to like speak through Tomura in like holograms and shit. It allows him to use the quirk through Tomura to make like holograms and shit. So this whole time you've been talking to Deku once. I'm like, you hate All Might, I hate All Might. You powerful as fuck. You say you immortal, like, so you can't die, right? And Izuku's like, yeah. So what? Because he's not gonna be dicey about his quirk. Like he can't die, and Bond told him like in the purgatory that he can't die no matter what. Like nobody can take his quirk, quotation marks. Like bro. So you know, um, All For One is like, bro, just join the dark side then. Like I don't like All Might. You don't like All Might. I've lived for 200 years. You say you're immortal. Like, we'd make a great fucking team, bro. I could make you my successor and all. Like, you could destroy All Might and all the Hero Society, bro. I'd give you all the quirks, you know what I'm saying? Because All For One, if you didn't know, All For One does what's best for All For One, you know? And what's best for All For One is playing a sick, twisted game that feeds his ego and makes and entertains him. Because if you didn't know, bro, living for 200 years or even 600 years, how much ever time, like, long living beings live. If you live for that long, at some point, entertainment starts to become something that you can dictate. You could get entertained by watching somebody die, or you could get entertained by watching somebody give birth. Like, nigga, it just, you develop weird shit because you lived so long that you don't even know what to do for you. Like with that time, and I'm not saying I went through this, cause nigga, I'm only 14. I'm 14, so But anyway, so Deck was like, nah, bro, I want to become a hero still. And All For One's like, why would you want to do that? And Izuku's like, nigga, I get what you're saying. I do hate All Might. He's like, he's like, All Might's getting a little better. He's not as stuck up and a bitch as he usually is. And All For One hearing that, he's like, true. And Izuku's like, he's not as stuck up a bitch as he usually is, but I still hate him. Like, it doesn't mean I'm cool with him, bro. Like I can tolerate him, but I still hate that nigga. It doesn't matter. And All For One's like, so why don't you fucking join me? And Izuku's like, never mind with all that bullshit. And then he goes, he saves Koda. He's coming back, but Koda's knocked out. You have to know. So All For One he finds Izuku again, and he's like, we didn't get to finish our last conversation. Izuku's like, yeah, and he's like I said, All Might just irritates me to my fucking soul, bro. And you know, who do you call it? All For One is like, so, wouldn't you rather become a villain and then you could kill him? And Izuku's like, nah, fam. Like, I'm just gonna become a hero. I'm gonna become number one. That way, I get to beat niggas' ass. I get to beat niggas' asses without getting in trouble for using my quirk. You know? He's like, bro. Plus, I gotta think about my mama. Like, I can't be doing shit, to jeopardize her. And All For One's like, okay, for sure, for sure. And he leaves. And then, Izuku gives Koda to Aizawa, and he's going to the group when All For One appears again. And Izuku's like, for fuck's sake, nigga, like, what the fuck do you want, nigga? And, All For One is like, blah, blah, blah. You were talking about your mother, so I thought she would be a great piece. Oh, shit, sorry about this shit. And he says, so I thought she would be a great bargaining chip, so I sent like 10 goons to her house or some bullshit like that. And Izuku's like, ha, nigga, you couldn't find her even if you fucking wanted to. This is the exact reason I will never let you niggas know where my parents is. And Hazachi's like, parents? And Izuku's like, yeah, her and my father, nowhere to be found. You know why? Because I made them disappear. Now shut the fuck up, get the fuck out my way. And All For One's like, ooh, I'm gonna enjoy playing with this one. And and he's like, I will get you a quirk, young Midoriya. And Izuku's like, bitch, you couldn't take this shit even if you fucking wanted to. And basically Izuku just like speeds off. And that was the reason. And because Izuku wasn't feeling like the presence coming from the holograms he was talking to. He just felt this eeriness about them. But then he feels the same eeriness, but then he starts feeling this just mad presence that's just horrifying. The killer intent is amazing. Like, Izuku's not scared, but he's definitely like, damn, that's a lot of killing intent. He's like, this nigga's like power levels are like his energy levels and shit, like the aura he's emitting, it's like on par with All Might, maybe even better. He's like maybe even stronger than All Might, which it definitely is. But it's being channeled through Shigaraki, so it's kind of weakened. But anyway, so All For One gives that distraction to Deku, and then Compressed takes Bakugo. They're hoping for Izuku to follow them through the portal, and so they take Bakugo, and Izuku's like shit, 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 and he tries to blitz, right? But then Moonfish, let's just say All For One compelled Moonfish to to get in Deku's way purposefully. So Deku, he's like speeding towards the portal, which this time they portaled away for them to portal away because they know his speed, because All For One told them his speed. So they're about to portal away, and just like in the original, Izuku tries to go for it, but this time Moonfish actually steps in the way and like stabs him right through his liver. And then, while Deku gets off balance for like 2 seconds, right? And in that 2 seconds, Moonfish like stabs him through the head, and Deku he regenerates his head in like 5 seconds, and in that 5 seconds, it's like enough time for them to close the portal and be gone. By the time he wakes up, he's like shit, and his classmates like gather around him. They're like, "What the fuck? What was that? Like, what happened? Why didn't you catch them?" And he's like, "Somebody shot me in the head, nigga," and he just walks away. And whole time his classmates are like, "Damn, fam." Like, I didn't even know that shit happened to him for real. They thought he was just like not strong enough, because they was angry. Like, how you gonna be the strongest but still not be able to save your friend? Which they think him and Bakugo are friends. Like, they're not. But they're thinking like, how you the strongest in the class but still not able to save your friend? And Izuku's like, some nigga shot me in the fucking head, and then he walks away. And they shut the fuck up because they know none of them could withstand a fucking like getting shot in the head, my nigga. But anyway, like, and so they get back to the, what do you call it? The training camp. Everything happens the same. All Might gets called in this time though, cause I'm pretty sure I said that this nigga has a higher time limit. So he comes in, he goes to Izuku immediately. Because like I said, they don't trust each other. And But All Might's starting to try to trust Izuku, but Izuku doesn't trust him. He just tolerates him. So All Might asks young Izuku, how did this happen? Like you were certainly strong enough to defeat those villains. And Izuku's like, no, it was that guy. And All Might's like, that guy. And Izuku's like, the guy you told me about. And All Might's like, what guy? And Izuku's like, the one you said was supposed to be dead. The one that was supposed to be your mortal enemy. And All Might's like, no, that can't be. And Izuku was like, didn't you say you fucked up his face? Like, nigga, he had like this weird thing. He had this weird like breathing apparatus on his face or some shit. And I couldn't touch him. It seemed like he was using like a sort of hologram quirk. And All Might's like, no, no, no. If he's back, that means trouble. That means the League of Villains is like his creation. That means like I have to prepare young Mirio. And Izuku's like, then go prepare your fucking successor, my nigga. And but All Might's still like, so how couldn't you stop him still? And Izuku's like, well, I got shot in the head. And All Might's like, I thought you could regenerate instantly. And Izuku's like, not when my fucking brain matter is fucking dissipated from my cranium, bro. Like, and All Might's like, fair point, fair point. And he's like, so what are the casualties? And Izuku's like, well, there are multiple injured students, and they took Bakugo. And All Might's like, what? Like loud as fuck, getting aggro, bro. And Izuku's like, but anyway, he's like, you're gonna help me get him back because Izuku kind of feels a little bit responsible in a way because he couldn't get his healing factor to the point where it needed to be to rescue Bakugo. So this whole time of them being in the hospital, which is like, I'm pretty sure it was like a week for them being in the hospital. If it's not, I'm gonna say it takes them a week to thing. I'm gonna say it took a week for Momo's tracking device to actually start working. So, you know, in that week, Izuku keeps shooting himself in the head constantly, 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 every single day. And his girlfriend, she's like asking him like, "Nigga, why the fuck is you doing that shit? Is you stupid?" And he's like, "No, I just need to improve the timing of my regeneration so that next time I get caught lacking, I don't take too much time getting up. That way I can save more people." And she's like, "Look at my baby trying to be helpful and shit." And he's like, nah, don't bring. He's like, don't start with that joke shit right now. Like, I'm not in a good mood right now. And he's like, I could always cheer you up. And they start doing the devil's tango, my nigga. So you know he's doing that, but Froppy, Momo, and Asudo, they still on his tail for some reason. But he's like, it's cool, it's cool. Like, I'll deal with them in due time. So time for the villain raid finally comes, and all the students are like, Izuku, you're not seriously going to the villain raid, blah blah blah, you could get killed. Izuku's like, nigga, I have been killed multiple times. Didn't stop me from coming back, and won't stop me from coming back this time. So get the fuck out of my way. And they're like, no, we're not letting you go, blah blah blah, we don't want you to get hurt. And nigga's like, bitch, please, that was just a courtesy. If I wanted you to get out of my way, I'd just do this. And he just like fucking slides them out of the way and just walks out. And so when he gets to the meeting about the hero raid, sorry, the villain raid, all the heroes are like, "Why the fuck is this little kid here? He shouldn't even be here. He's not even an official hero." Blah blah blah. And All Might's like, "Yeah, but he gets a free pass since he can't die, and he's as strong as me." And as soon as he says that, all the heroes are like, "What?" And especially Endeavor, he's like, "What? No, this child could not be as strong as you." And All Might is like, yeah, he is. Like, this nigga, he's like, you see, due to young Midoriya's quirk, he has enhanced regeneration, which means he can tear his muscles continuously, and he'll heal instantly, which means he can progressively get stronger the more he works out to an extreme extent, you know? Which they're like, well, shit, okay then. And so, but they're still not like comfortable with letting a kid join the raid. But they're like, since All Might is here and All Might will protect him, like he has All Might's blessing. Like we can't do shit against that. Like he's the number one hero, symbol of peace, privileges. So they're like, okay, we just gonna have to tolerate this little brat. Hope he doesn't get in the way, you know. And so when it comes for like so the day after they actually go for the hero for the villain raid, and all the pro heroes are like, "Don't get in my way, brat." Blah blah blah. You could put real lives at risk and blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Yeah yeah, shut the fuck up, nigga." They're like, "What did you say to me, you little brat?" And he's like, "I said shut the fuck up. I'm trying to rescue my friend. You just concentrating my fucking flow." And Izuku like puts on the loudest headphones he could ever find, and he just starts blasting music in his ears, and you can hear this shit like you can't hear this shit outside because it's like the noise canceling ones, you know. So he just blasted loudest music you could ever hear, you know. And then he sees All Might bust in the door, and he's like, "Yup, time to go." And he's like right behind All Might and Endeavor. So as soon as they bust in, so does Izuku. And unlike in the original, where Katsuki was being bounced around, the kids, like the children from UA, this time they don't even go to rescue Bakugo because they see All Might isn't weakened. They haven't even seen All Might struggle once, and they know Izuku is there too. Um, but actually, I'm gonna say they went still. They still went. Okay, they still went. So they're like in the back of the thing, like hiding, just like in the original. And the villain raid's going according to plan until Izuku grabs Bakugo. And then All For One appears, you know, the sickening presence of terror appears. And Izuku's like, "Oh, so it's you again." And All For One's like, "Yes, and I'll be taking your quirk now." And he like reaches out for Izuku and grabs his head. And Izuku just lets him. He's like, "Go ahead, try." And All For One's like, "Are you certain I won't be able to take your quirk?" And he's saying this in like kind of a mocking manner because like a lot of people has said that he couldn't take their quirks, and he always does. So he tries, and he tries, and he tries, and he tries, and he can only take Izuku's like original quirk, which his original quirk isn't like it's not like one for all, so it was never interfering with Bond's gift to Izuku. So his original quirk was a what do you call it? It was a very high pyrokinesis quirk, like on par with Dobby's, you know. So Izuku was like, "Oh shit, I think I actually gave him a quirk," and All Might's like, "You stupid fucking idiot!" Like he's like, uh, what the fuck? I thought you were quirkless. And Izuku's like, I'm fucking supposed to be like, my quirk never awakened, so I just guessed I was quirkless. Like, the doctor said I was quirkless too. And um, All For One's like, well, that doctor was working for me, so it's his job to tell you you're quirkless, so you never like try to awaken your quirk or anything. And Izuku's like, you fucking bastard. So my whole childhood, it's because of you. And this purplish aura just starts emitting from Izuku, because all that comedic relief they were just having, um, all that comedy shit just goes away in the blink of an eye, and Almight's like, oh shit, he's getting serious, fuck, because he's never seen Izuku serious. He's only seen Izuku like joking, and even when Izuku's joking, Izuku's still as powerful as him. So this is the first time he sees Izuku like determined to like not kill but like beat the shit out of someone. You know what I'm saying? Not like when it was with Bakugo, because when it was with Bakugo, he just wanted to prove a point that like nigga, you ain't as good as me. So you know, this time he's like, yeah, I'm finna fold this nigga. I'm finna fold him like a fucking omelet. You know? And All like, yep, I'm on that boat with you too. And he's like, just let me take the lead. I have more experience with this nigga, and I am a pro hero after all. Like the citizens, I don't think they'd approve of me letting a child like fight my battles for me. And Izuku's like, fucking get off your high horse, my nigga. Like, shut the fuck up. And All Might's like, what did you say? Cause he's like, you disrespectful little. And then he blinks, and Izuku's just gone. And he sees All For One just take a massive hit to the face, crash through all the buildings. And he's like, oh shit, so that's what Izuku looks like when he's angry, you know? And before All For One can even get up to use the portal quirk to get everybody out of there, bro, he just Izuku just grabs Bakugo and like he's like, hey yo, you it's like you behind the fucking pillars, like take this nigga and get the fuck out. And they're like, huh, how did you know we were here? Blah 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 blah. Izuku's like, shut the fuck up and just take this nigga. And he just like throws Bakugo at them. And he's like, get the fuck out. Like, and they're like, why aren't you coming with us? Blah blah blah. Let the heroes handle this. And Izuku's like, nigga, why do you think I'm going to UA? And he's like, to become a hero. And then him and All Might's like, well said, young Midoriya. And they both just like disappear, you know. So they disappear, and then um All For One appears like in the middle, and then you just see both of them appear like in the air, you know. And they're fighting All For One just like in the original, which All Might's power starts to slip away a little bit, you know. It's like it's like when he fought the Nomu this time. It's like his thing is like when he fought the Nomu. That's how much power he has right now. So by the end, the people won't have lost their symbol of peace, so they won't be discouraged like in the original, you know. So Izuku and All Might are boxing this nigga, but you have to know, like, All For One is still stronger than All Might. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. All Might only got All For One because All For One didn't take that shit serious and had a master plan. And but in this one, Izuku is in the mix, so it's more leveled, you know. And there's no ass pull from All Might this time, so I won't get aggro. But you know, All Might and Izuku box the shit out of All For One, and by the end, the citizens are seeing All Might like he's losing a little bit of muscle mass, and they're like, "Oh shit! Like, why is he like decreasing in size?" But and All Might watches and he's like, "Oh shit! I need to watch what I'm doing." And Izuku's like, "Oh shit, so you're nearly out of time?" And All Might's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And Izuku's like, "Well, can't have them losing their symbol of peace until I take over." And All Might's like, "That's a bit cocky, kid." And Izuku's like, "I'm not cocky, I'm just confident." And he's like, "You want to finish this off though?" And All Might is like, "Yes." And you know the steam starts coming off of him, and then his one arm just gets extra bulky. His like right arm gets extra bulky, and Izuku's like left arm gets extra bulky, you know. And then they just like charge at All For One, you know. And All Might, and before they can connect the hits together, like All Might hits him with the 100% United States of Smash, like, and that sends him like backwards. And then Izuku like just appears behind him um and does his, I'm gonna call it Dragon Fist, just because I want to, my nigga. I don't give a fuck. So he steals All For One, and the villain's powers and the Nomus and shit. He steals their energy and just does Dragon Fist straight into All For One's spine. Just cracks that shit, and All For One is just cratered into the ground. And when they're done, you know, All Might, he goes up to Izuku, and then when the helicopter spotlight lands on All Might and Izuku, you know, All Might puts his hand up, and All Might's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Izuku's like, "What do you mean?" And you know, All Might's like, "Didn't you say you were gonna take over my position?" And Izuku's like, "Obviously." And then All Might's like, "Then if you want to become the symbol of peace, you have to act like it." He's like, "Put your hand up in victory, boy." You know, and he treats Izuku like this like little boy, and Izuku's like, "Nigga, don't ever call me that in your life, but I'll take your advice." But he's like, "Yeah, but I still need to take this nigga's advice. He has been doing this for like what, 20 years, 30 years, my nigga. Like, I need to take his advice still." So Izuku puts his hand in the air, and everybody and all the crowd just celebrating, you know. But this is how I'm gonna end it off today, bro. Like, thank you very much for the 147 subscribers. We reached 100 subscribers. I am so happy, my nigga. You don't even understand. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comment section, what do you want for um what if what do you want for the 150 sub special, or the 100 sub special, sorry. What do you want for the 100 sub special? Tell me.